All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. President Obama, blacks and Africans paradox. I'm gonna try to tie all this stuff together. I just made a video, wound up coughing like crazy, so I had to cut it off. So I'm gonna try to shorten this. I made a video a while back what Africans don't get about African Americans. Excuse me. It was basically a video saying what I see, what I saw at that point about the dynamics between Black Americans and Africans in America. Had nothing to do with what was going on in Africa. This is why I bring this topic up. This is kind of one of those things that's all together. So let's get right into it. I'm taking too long. I'm beating around the bush. Africans sometimes say, and it's going to be positive and negatives. Africans sometimes say, we come here, we get educated, we're more productive than you people, blah, blah, blah. And we take that as, if that's the propaganda you want to give yourself, okay, cool. But this is how the president fits into this. You say, the president is African. His dad was from Kenya. Okay, you're absolutely right. But he wasn't raised by Africans. So, are you also saying that only white people can raise Africans to be presidents? And only white people can raise Africans to be presidents in a country with black Americans who paved the way for this quote-unquote African American president to be successful because Africans couldn't do it? Not saying that they don't have Africans in Africa that are presidents. That's not what I'm saying. Now, the reason I'm saying it is this. Because he fits the mold of, he's educated, he worked harder than everybody, blah, 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 blah. He probably, not to say he's not an intelligent guy, because that's a bullshit lie, that's a lie. But would it be safe to say when he was in college he went due to affirmative action because of the civil rights movement? Would that be safe to say? So is he standing on the shoulders of Africans? Or is he standing on the shoulders of black Americans who, and I'm gonna bring this full circle to the present time just so y'all get it. You're like, but that's the past, you're always trying to live off your past and your past. Well, here's the thing, bro. Like, when you say you bringing your culture to this country, your culture is your past, ain't it? Because sometimes Africans tell us that we don't have a culture, and we're like, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. Yes, we do. But our culture is our past accomplishments. Excuse me. Our past accomplishments are a part of our culture. So if you're benefiting from our past accomplishments, saying we don't have a culture, but you're using those accomplishments that are a part of our culture for you to get ahead, hello, doesn't sound right. Don't make too much sense to us. Now, present day. Black Americans voted 98 and 99% to put a quote-unquote African in the presidency of the White House. So if that's not love to Africans, or we not showing love to Africans, what are you saying? Did people tease him as a kid? He already said he got people fuck with him as a kid. Just like Africans say, we fuck with Africans as kids. You think Barack probably wasn't called like an African booty scratcher? And he was living in Hawaii, which really, when raised by white people, he probably was called a nigga and an African booty scratcher, right? Just using the name sense, but you don't see him going hard on Caucasians about that or Hawaiians about that. You feel me? As a matter of fact, he's on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. He really seems like he's always trying to be overly appeasing to them, even though they're disrespecting him every chance they get. But going backwards, black Americans voted that high twice to put him in office. That's present day. And our Africans don't say, well, we did it too. Okay. So now you black Americans now? Or when it's convenient for the argument, now you with us now? You separate, you feel me? You get what I'm saying? Like you're separate when you're better than all of us, but if you actually voted to get him in, then you're with us and you taking credit for that too? As if you outnumber us? That's my point. That's present day, just using him as an example. Now, when it comes to black Americans, we get it. You say, y'all bad culture, blah, blah, blah. Look at how you out here doing all this fuckery and thuggery and this and that and this and that. And we have people out here doing fuck shit just like everybody else. I can't disagree with you on that. What I don't get is this. A lot of the stereotypes we have about Africans came from the media. We don't control the media. When you came to America and you saw how the media portrayed Africans, were you mad at the American media? No. But you came to America and you saw that same media portray us as negative, and you willing to go with that same media knowing that they do it to you too. We don't understand it. Because now you can see it inside the country, and you can see the effects in America and in Africa. Excuse me. Because the Ethiopian kid with the pot belly who's been starving, that makes Africans in America look bad. Because the media is putting out that y'all ain't even taking care of your own. Y'all flew over here to get away from being from Africa to be Americans, and you still not taking care of Africans, and you're making more money now in America. You see what I'm saying? This is part of the appeasing part that I'm talking about. It's like, and the president does the same thing with for the fuckery that we actually have in our community. There should be natural anger. I'm not going to defend that bullshit. I don't like it, but I ain't the only person that don't like it. But I find it ironic that if you can call out black Americans fuckery, how come you can't call out everybody else's? And that's the same thing that the president does. Like, through these last 8 years, the protests, the riots that were good, even the one that went bad, and the media have all pointed out black criminality, right? But when those kids down in Newtown, he didn't address white criminality. When those bikers were in Waco and just had the shootout and they really didn't do too much, he didn't address white criminality. When Denver Broncos just won the Super Bowl and they had a riot in Denver, didn't address white criminality. The mass shootings that went on didn't address white criminality. The President Trump situations that's going on, not addressing white criminality. It's just a lot of fuckery that go. The Asians wanting people to stand with them because an Asian cop got thrown under the bus. You feel me? Because he shot a black guy. and they should be getting off. That Asian cop should get off just like all the white people who get off for murdering black guys when they cops. Didn't address that fuckery. Or the half Asian hole squad guy who raped all the black women. Didn't address that. And this is the same issue that we have, quote unquote, with Africans. Because we ain't the only ones with fuckery. We just the only ones you're going to talk crazy to. Now, for us, I'm going to explain some things because I don't have much time left. People act like we don't have a culture. Okay. Well, I'm explaining to you what black culture is. Black culture is all of the American culture that you thought was non-black culture. Do you understand that? Do you understand that a lot of these businesses and these industries are built off of black inventions from black inventors who couldn't get their financial due and couldn't create jobs and businesses because they were black? Do you understand that? Do you understand some of the companies that you work for that hire, quote unquote, highly educated Africans? I'm not gonna say that you're not highly educated because I went to school with Africans. Isn't it like y'all A's and B's were no different from my A's and B's? Your degree was no different from mine, but it's neither here nor there. But to come here and not realize that seems odd to me. Like if you're so, when you ask what culture is that, when you go to school and your teacher writes on a blackboard to teach you, who invented the blackboard? Who invented the desk you sit in? Just saying, like, who invented the pencil sharpener that you use? But that's not looked at. That's an education industry that, and I can go further and further with things, from most type of businesses. Like, you got a refrigerator, come on now. You got an air conditioner, come on now. You go up and down on an elevator, escalator, come on now. You got an automatic transmission, come on now. When you stop at the stoplight all the time, come on now. You want to play in the summertime, you use your super soaker, come on now. If you got a video game system, who invented the first video game console with the single cartridge? That is the model that began all of this. Atari, Nintendo, to the Xbox and PlayStation that you got now. Come on now. You see how purposely, when you eating potato chips, do you see a black-owned? Is Frito-Lay a black company? Come on now. And and when you look at the inception of some of these things, you will start to realize, damn, why aren't where are the jobs in the black community? Yeah, integration has something to do with that. Segregation has something to do with that. Jim Crow has something to do with that. Racism has something to do with that. But what it also had a lot to do with was making sure that all of our greatness was stifled by America to make everybody else rich. When you type up who invented the light bulb, you're going to find out that Lewis Latimer's pictures in there. You know who Tesla is. You know who Edison is. How did they wind up with fortunes and Latimer didn't? Use your mind, And this is why the misplaced hatred is a problem to us because, dude, you're benefiting off everything that we built literally and figuratively, but you act like we beneath you. And that's the same feeling I have about the president too, because let's be real. Like, everybody else that shits on him, he respects them, and the people that put him there, he shits on us. To me, that's misplaced anger, and that's a bit of cowardice. But I'm out. Peace.